Welcome back to Fairy Tail Anime Review. This is part 4, and this I'm reviewing the 4th season of the anime. It's only 25 episodes, and this one is an adaptation. This season's an adaptation of pretty much the rest of pretty much Volume 25, up until it ends with Volume 30. It pretty much this whole season, most of the season, with the exception of the last 3 episodes, is basically, the rest of the S-Class trials. And of course, the battle with, the Grimoire Heart. And also, the end of the previous season had the first appearance in the show of the main antagonist of the franchise, Zeref, the Black Wizard. Yep, he finally does show up. And we get to learn some things about a couple of the members of the Grimoire, the Seven Purgatory kin. There is an overweight guy who looks like a sumo wrestler, and he tries to do some moves on Lucy and some of the other girls. There is Gray's master's daughter, who apparently has been live and well for years. Yeah, she pop up in the show now and again. But, yeah, you can see a lot what she does. There is Melody, who has one of her abilities that she does this little love connection chain, where she basically tags Julia with it. And because she wants to kill Gray, Julia basically goes berserk and basically just attacks her. And a little later on, after she beats her, she sort of chases her basically, because she kind of basically hit her leg. She can't exactly run to catch up with her. Basically, so she just acts like a crazed maniac, basically crawling while chasing. It's so hilarious. There's also a guy there's also a bird man who basically fires off, who spits eggs out of his mouth. Not kidding. There's another guy who basically uses words, kind of similar to Freed and Lily. And there's a lot of fighting going on this season, and it encompasses good much. And it turns out that their leader, Hades, is actually Fairy Tail's second guild master. Yep. Yeah, it was actually a bit of a shock. Probably a surprise for some people who watch the show, basically didn't read them. I kind of knew about it, but it's been a little while since I finished reading the manga, basically at this point in time. But, yeah. And even after they defeated, all the other people, basically, also, Kana, basically, it's revealed that Kana is the daughter of Gildarts. Yeah, she's Gildart's daughter. Yep, and toward the end, she does reveal to him that she is in fact his daughter. And apparently, her mother was actually his only known wife he's ever actually had, and he never knew he had a daughter at all. And the fact that she's been hanging out at the guild hall for 12 years waiting to tell him, I'm like, really? You waited 12 years to tell him? Yeah, almost any time she tried to tell him, something else came up. But, yeah. It's interesting, though, the fact they actually do this. And we also get a chance to see the season, the probably going to be maybe one of the very few appearances of the first Guildmaster, Mavis. Yeah, it's a blonde-haired girl, like Lucy. She kind of looks like Lucy in the way if Lucy was about 20 years younger. Or at least maybe like a little girl. But yeah, basically it's a corporeal form. And after they defeat Grimoire Heart, which takes a good long while, well, of course, most of the good members are injured toward the end of this. And of course, when Natsu, Lucy, Happy, Panther Lily, Kana, Wendy, let's see, actually it's Carl, not Kana, Urza and Gray go fight Hades. Basically, the battle lasts for a good while. Even destroys most of his airship. And, let's see, what else? Yeah, it turns out the guy missed. Yeah, he's actually undercover spy for the Magic Council, just trying to gather, the dirty stuff on Fairy Tail, just so they can get disbanded. Yeah. Let's see, what else? Oh, yeah. And then all of a sudden, Laxus shows up, first time since the end of Season 1. Yeah. He shows up and basically helps him out. It's not like he's not able to beat Hades, but he does lend his power to Natsu, and after a little while, they finally beat him. And then basically, um, what's his name? Zetsu, I think his name is. I kind of forgot his name. The main antagonist of the franchise. Let's see. Let's see. I had to look it up here. I kind of forgot the guy's name. He's basically the Black Wizard. Oh, Zeref. That's his name. Zeref. Zeref utters a word. Apocrypha. It's basically some basically very dangerous word. Let's see. Yeah, Zeref utters basically a particular word that gets everybody, that gets the whole people who run the Magic Council, well, their soldiers, upset. Yeah, where they get upset and they have to evacuate because, well, something really dangerous. So, after everybody is defeated, after, well, Grimoire Heart is defeated, yeah, here it is. Agnolia, I think it's a pronunciation. Yeah. Yeah, he comes to the island, and this is a gigantic dragon. This thing is huge. Yeah, also, during the course of the battle, the tree that's in the island gets knocked down, but gets put back up later on. And this gigantic dragon basically just kind of comes out of nowhere. Basically, there's actually a good build to it, which I gotta praise the anime for doing that. And everybody is so shocked to see this creature. And apparently, this dragon is the bringer of the apocalypse. And apparently, this is also the dragon that Gelmdarts basically fought and basically lost and basically was seriously wounded by. And Natsu's like, hey, dragons do exist, because they were kept denying the fact dragons exist. And yeah, they all saw the freaking dragon. And they try to get away, but the master just tries to basically fight him off. Everyone just tries to fight him. And then all of a sudden they decided to do a special defensive spell, but everybody holds hands. Yeah, all the characters hold hands. Also, I should mention that before I get to this part, Julia basically does her usual weird thing, like, oh yeah, she wants Gray to spank her for failing to get Zeref. He's like, no, that's not necessary. And then later on, she basically becomes his chair. Basically, it's like, yeah. And Elfman is the first one to notice the fact that he's not sitting on a piece of wood, he's sitting on a person. And according to Julia, it's like, yeah, it's better punishment than basically spanking. It is so hilarious. So hilarious and kind of weird at the same time. But yeah. So, after basically the dragon pretty much destroys the island, of course everything's a defensive spell, then all of a sudden the 7-year jump happens. And apparently during the 7-year jump, the Blue Pegasus Guild never stopped searching for the strong members of the Fairy Tail Guild. And Fairy Tail become extremely weak, and they had to move to a backup building as their headquarters because, well, this new I think it's named Twilight Org, kind of took over basically, well, as being the big bright spot from Magnolia. And they love bullying Fairy Tail. And when they found out basically that when Blue Pegasus told them, yeah, there's something at the island, and the island basically, some of the members basically go out to the island, and the thing out comes right out of the ocean, and they find everybody, no problem. They explain exactly what happened, and then pretty much they find Natsu, and then jumps back to present and jumps back to the guild hall. Of course, they filled in the gaps there, and then Natsu just beats up the Twilight Org guys who've basically been bullying them for a while, and and then it's so hilarious. After they pretty much beat up those guys, and they run away, and it's kind of revealed exactly what some of the stuff that happens. Aside from the fact that Fairy Tail can be weak, Biscuit and There was one I remember. Let's see. What is his name? Uh, let's see if I can find his name here. Uh, let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, Biscuit and the guy who they've been dating for a while. Okay, if I can find it here. Okay, Aztec basically. 1 year after basically the big strong character disappeared, they got married and they have a daughter. Got praise him for that. Even Urza was kind of surprised basically that they got married and she missed the wedding ceremony. And also during the 7-year jump, apparently 1 month prior to them showing up, 1 month prior to their return, Lucy's father passed away. Yep. And let's see, what else? Oh yeah, Romy became a full member of the guild, and apparently he's learning fire magic, which, cool, that's interesting. And also the guy who's an artist basically uses, and apparently the guy was so big, apparently during the 7 years, apparently his magic faded away, and he's like slim, and then one of Levi's associates basically put on a bunch of weight in 7 years, and also Romeo's father became the guild master. So after they all came back and they explained what was going on, and basically, I'm trying to think, what's his name? Matsu, I think his name is the guild master, the guy who's been guild master for most of the franchise. Let's see if I can look him up here. Here we go. Markov, yes. Yeah, Markov, basically. He goes to negotiate with Twilight Org about the whole loan thing. And basically, it's kind of depicted that Twilight Org in this show, it's kind of like, they're basically like loan sharks. Yeah, if you don't pay, you get beat up. Yeah, that's what it seems like for these guys. They're basically more like loan sharks than an actual guild. That's what it seems like to me. And he's been upset, and he basically he's like very calm with them, and then later on basically it's like, okay, we'll pay you, we'll try to pay you what we owe if you pay us for all the property damage you've done to us. Yeah, and the guy who's basically the guild master is like, yeah, he's trying to basically tell him no, and then basically he goes to giant size, and Urza goes to one of her armors, and Mara J basically decided to just turn to the She-Devil and just attack the whole guild. And then they later on agree. It's a great episode. Basically the 7-year gap. And then the last episode of the season is the Magical Ball, which is probably one of the most hilarious episodes of the whole series. Yeah, it's an episode where most of the cast does a lot of dancing. Yeah, I mean, they have basically Lucy dance with Natsu, they have Gray dance with Julia, Elfman dance with Evergreen. I'm trying to think, what else? They even have Ganju dance with Levy, which was so hilarious. A guy who probably does not know how to dance, and yet he's dancing perfectly fine with Levy. And basically, also Elza basically was a dancing demon. It's so hilarious, and she spins around Natsu and a couple others. It is so hilarious. It's one of the most hilarious episodes, and the whole point of this episode was basically the reason why they're dancing is they had to go to job to this magical ball and trying to catch an escaped criminal, and the bounty is 4 million jewels. They do catch him, but they don't get the reward money because, well, they kind of failed the job, but they did catch him. So yeah, and it turns out the guy had a thing for the client's daughter all along, despite the fact he kept saying no. She said yes, but she agreed to marry him. if he go back to resume his sentence, which he happily agreed to. And he, of course, went off, and of course, the episode ended with Lucy and Natsu dancing the night away. There's even a hilarious moment, this is a very, very cute moment where Wendy gets a chance to do some dancing, and basically the guy she's dancing is actually the guy looking for, though he uses transformation magic to actually sort of basically become the boy around her age. Though they actually find him tied up. But yeah, it basically people go on this mission. Basically, the telepath guy, I do not remember his name. Elfman, Lucy, Gray, Natsu, Happy, Carla. Let's see. Yeah, there's basically a small group of them. It's actually a bit larger. Oh yeah, and Urza. Yeah, it's actually a bit larger group than they usually do when they go on missions. But yeah, it's really nice. But it's a good season nonetheless. Of course, Zeref gets away, and it's by far a great season nonetheless. And I'm looking forward to basically a chance to watch season 5, but I want to get some more comics done first before I get a chance to do that. So, I know kind of flip up around. I may have left out some stuff, but it's a great and exciting season nonetheless. And it's nice to get a chance to see the main villain of the franchise make an appearance. He doesn't do very much in the season. Most of the time, he just spends the time like being unconscious, being carried around. It's not until like toward the very end he actually does something. He basically destroys an airship. He destroys the top of an airship, kills Hades, and basically says, "Oh yeah, because of Hades' actions, it brought about this dragon." Yep. So, not really much complaints for this one. Not necessarily, no. I kind of wish in the last episode that Julia went along with the whole dancing mission. It would have been funny, absolutely hilarious to see Ganju basically wearing a suit. Yeah, it would have been so hilarious. But the only guys who get a chance to see in suits is basically Elfman, Natsu, and Gray. And of course, Urza basically is wearing the dress she wore in the Tower of Heaven arc. Yeah, it's the same exact dress. I know, because I've seen it before. Lucy, I think, is wearing a different dress than usual. I don't think I've seen this dress before. And Wendy's got a gorgeous-looking dress that she wore in it. But, yeah. Not really big complaints here for this particular season. Like last season, I had one minor complaint. This one, I kind of wish in the last episode... This episode kind of felt like very much filler in a way. Also, because Lucy didn't pay rent for 7 years, she owes 7 years of back rent, which apparently is $5 million. Yeah, and then she sort of kicked out of her apartment, and then later on her landlady basically drags her back to the apartment. Yeah, you can come back in because, well, the loan was paid off. So the rent was paid off, which was good. Let's see. Yeah, of course, also apparently Natsu and Happy's house basically grew weeds all over the place. Yeah, but let's see. Is there anything else I forgot? No, not necessarily, but great season nonetheless. I'm looking forward to season 5, which season 5 looks like a filler season. Yeah, but season 6 and 7 basically they're back to canon stuff. But basically next season looks like it's filler mostly. That's what it looks like to me. But that's really it for this episode. I don't have much else to say. Great season. Looking forward to get a chance to watch season 5 soon. But yeah. So, until I see you all in my next video, whenever I get a chance to either probably part 5 of this or another comic corner. But yeah. Till then, see you there. Bye.